Hey, how's everybody doing? I got it on my phone. I am not seeing the chat. Live chat. There we go. Hey, there we go. Hey, Pippi. Hey, Michael. Hey, Tugboat. How's everybody doing? Hey, Keith. All right. Well, tonight I'm going to work on a commission. Hey, Kitty. I'm going to do a Link and Ganondorf piece. So, yeah, so that's what I'm doing tonight. Probably just going to get it, like, maybe penciled tonight. Probably not. I'll probably get it roughed in tonight. Yeah, no kidding, Keith. This has been a wild week. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Oh man, Michael, over here too. Like, it isn't actually too bad yet, but it's supposed to snow. Start snowing here tomorrow morning. So a lot of today was spent running around doing errands so that we don't have to go anywhere. Oregon is not especially well suited for snow. Oh, nice. I'm glad you could make it, Kitty. We're working on, Pippi, we're working on a Link Ganondorf commission. Hey, Lindsay. Holy moly, 10. Negative 10. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Keith, maybe one of these days you'll get some snow down there. I think the whole time I lived in Southern California, we got snow once in Temecula. And it was, like, you wouldn't really call it snow anyplace else, but in Southern California, it counted. All right, so my thought of this commission, I'm going to do some roughs. Zoom in a little bit. Come on. Other way. There we go. Well, you've never played Legend of Zelda Tugboat? It is, well, the new ones are probably my favorite video games of all time. So my thought for this is to have Link kind of like in an action pose with his master sword, and then do like a Ganondorf that's like as big as the rest of the page. $44 there. That's pretty good. Link to the Past was still a Game Boy game, right? Like, I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time. Oh, Super NES. Yeah, that makes sense. But the first time I really, really got into Zelda was on the Wii. Wait, was it on the Wii? No, it was on GameCube. It was the Wind Waker one, which I thought was just a brilliant game. Yeah, I kind of miss Super NES days too. I've been thinking about making a Retro Pi, a little Raspberry Pi computer, and running Retro Pi on it so I could play NES games and Super NES games. But I actually don't have that much time for game playing, so I don't know if it would actually be wasted on me or not. Yeah, Keith, the Wind Waker art style is amazing. Gotta look up some Ganondorf reference. Like, this Ganondorf look is iconic. This is the new guy, and his like one boob out look is pretty great. So I think, though, I'm going to push his physique a little bit to get him a little bit more like a wrestler than like a bodybuilder, just so that his frame can be a little more square. Yeah, Michael, doing a whole arcade cabinet would be so fun, like a stand-up thing, or even like a tabletop one would be amazing. It'd be so fun. Oh man, Kitty, I've been like this close to finishing Breath of the Wild for months. I actually haven't played for a while just because I was like, I didn't want to finish it, so I was just sort of grinding around doing stuff. I should probably just go finish it, but it's hard. Yeah, Lindsay, those side quests are like, that's what makes them fun. All right, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think this is a good enough sketch for me. I need to set this up one of these days to show how I pencil digitally, because I actually do a lot more of my penciling digitally nowadays than I do on paper. But it's kind of more fun to do it on paper for the live stream. Ganondorf and Link are eternal enemies. Tugboat. But, you know, they might kiss once in a while. Yeah, totally a looming presence. That's like one of the things that I really like about Japanese like character design in animation and stuff is just how they're, I mean, not always obviously, but so often they're willing to just go hog wild on the sizes. If they want somebody to look big, they make them like insanely big. I feel like we end up talking about Zelda a lot on the stream. I mean, obviously today because I'm working on a commission, but just in general. Now I gotta look up Link. He's had so many like different looks. Oh, hey, Edie. It's good to see you, man. Oh, yeah. Did you guys see my Hellblazer Swamp Thing cover? Hold on a second. Let me go grab it. This was very exciting. And anybody who knows me knows that I love Swamp Thing. And getting to do Swamp Thing with La Llorona thing was pretty great. And this guy's big. This is 17 wide by 22 high. And it is very much like mixed media. This is acrylic wash up top. Did acrylic ink for like the underdrawing. Lot of colored pencil on this. Yeah, it's basically like, I guess, watercolor, acrylic wash, acrylic ink, and colored pencil. But I'm very happy with how this turned out. I love it. And it's rad that it's like nice and big too. Like in real life, it's a very just a sort of imposing piece with all of the reeds and the grasses and stuff. Very fun. I did another cover for DC just last week, but I cannot show it yet. But I'm excited to show it. It turned out great, I think. Give Link that wide hero stance. Can't knock him over. I put a lot of horses into that Swamp Thing piece. Probably, I don't know. I think it probably took me 3 days. Like, like full days. Well, I mean, a full day of painting is usually like 4 to 6 hours of actual like hunching over the table. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's at least 12 hours in there, maybe as many as 16 hours into that painting. A lot of horses. What do you want to know about that cover, Edie? I got answers. I've used every media I had at my disposal. I basically used, I started with brown ink, like underdrawing. I penciled it digitally in Clip Studio Paint, and then I did a brown ink underdrawing, did a watercolor pass on it. I did a bunch of colored inks and acrylic gouache on top of that, and then I sort of finished it up with different colored pencils. So it's just about everything. I haven't played this iteration. Is this similar scale contrast, or are you pushing? I'm pushing the piece a little bit on this one, Michael. Like, there's a ridiculous size contrast between these two, but this is an exaggeration over that. I usually start out in Clip Studio Paint. Well, I usually start out in my sketchbook with like sketches, but I usually do my penciling in Clip Studio Paint. I was thinking maybe next week I'll try to do live stream with a screen capture of my computer and show some of my Clip Studio process. It's like super basic the way I use it, because I just use it for penciling basically. So I have like a setup that basically works like how I pencil on paper, really. I have like red pencil layers and then normal pencil layers. So even this drawing, like I'll probably scan it and then clean it up a little bit in Clip Studio and probably make some edits and then print it out for to do the final painting. Because I'm already wishing that I had done this in Clip Studio, because I want to move Link down a little bit. I like it. I didn't want to have Link right on Ganondorf's dork, but the way I did it, he's a little bit too high. So probably what I'm going to do is move him down. Well, actually, you know what I'll probably do is I'll probably pencil Link completely, and then do Ganondorf on another piece of paper, actually, so I can fudge with it once I scan it in. I'm having a hell of a time finding good link reference, though. He's so, like, fan art is taken up everywhere. I'm going to try looking for screenshots. Man, even that's rough. Michael, I think the Clip Studio interface is, like, they're just different. They're just completely different things. Like, Clip Studio is like a full featured program. Like, it has just everything you could want. It has a lot of great, like, comic book specific tools, like a whole thing to do panel borders and all that jazz. And it has lettering tools that aren't very good, but they're getting better. I sort of switch back and forth between using it on my computer and using it on my iPad. The iPad is a subscription, but the desktop version, you can pay once, which is nice. And you're right, Keith, it does have a lot of features, so it can be a little bit, Clip Studio can be a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, it has my favorite brushes. Well, you know, and I only use it for penciling, so I just need a nice pencil. But I like the pencils in Clip Studio way better than Procreate. In fact, I've tried really hard to get into using Procreate, and just haven't been able to make it work for me. I don't know. I don't really know why. Trying to find reference for Link's arm in Breath of the Wild. And I'm having a hard time, man. What is going on? It's like it's all fan art. Which is nice, but not what I need. Yeah, I could see, like, if you like doing painting digitally, Procreate could be really good. Sorry, I'm getting my head in there. Yeah, I did a search for screen caps, and I wonder if, like, original design? Yeah, man, it was just really fighting me. There's a pretty good... There's a good, actually, a pretty usable turnaround right there. But it does not show his arm. Because he's got that, like... I think they were careful in promotional art not to show the arm for fear of spoilers. Have a great night, Michael. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, and don't forget to hit that little like button, everybody. Yeah, Kitty, the layer limit in Procreate has never been a problem for me. I'm definitely I don't know what you would call that. I don't like I use as few layers as possible in all my stuff. even my Procreate, like my really intense files have like maybe like 6 layers, 7 layers. My cat's over here trying to get my attention. It's because it's their feeding time, and I don't think she's been fed yet. Yeah, she's, my cat is over on my other desk, trying to knock things off. Because it's time. I just switched, if anyone is curious, to like a softer lead, so I could get a little bit darker line. To sort of figure out, or like indicate which lines are the good lines. I forget what the Wacom fiasco was. Was that like them trying to do some AI art thing? It's really kind of extraordinary how companies like Adobe and Wacom like they don't understand their clientele. Excuse me for one moment. Here's the troublemaker. She was she was working on chewing through the cable for this camera over here. This one. AI dragon. Ugh. It's true. She is too cute. Somehow made his legs all funny. Still feel like I'm somehow making his shin like way too short there. And this is a great example of how drawing is like 90% erasing. Sorry, I keep getting my head in the shot. Right, Edie? Like, I've been, this past week I've been working on stuff that's required a lot of photo reference, and it is so funny, like, when you take a photo and it looks fake. I keep drawing this foot and liking it, and then, but it's not in the right place. That's like where working in Clip Studio is so good, is when you draw the right foot and it's in the wrong place, you can just grab it and move it, and you don't have to erase it. That's an okay foot. Clip Studio has 3D models, yes. And you can import 3D models, which is pretty great. I have on occasion actually made 3D models of stuff and then brought them in. The only thing I've had like no real luck with, and it's the thing that I would really love to do with 3D models in Clip Studio, is environments. But they have a really hard time, like, it's hard to get a camera to be inside of an object. The way Clip Studio deals with 3D is not like as flexible as I would like. Clip Studio also has like built-in like character models, but I don't think they're not as helpful as they should be. I think part of it is just that they're so dialed into a manga style that I just don't find them that useful. Tyler, do you mean building an environment in a modeler and importing the model, including the camera? I guess so. Like, I do mean like building an environment model in like Blender and then importing it into Clip Studio. As far as I know, but now I'm wondering if I've totally missed something. As far as I know, like you can't import the camera with a Blender model, but like, man, that seems like that's got to be wrong, right? Like, it seems like you should be able to do that. That's an okay link. Let's see if I can get a Gannon dwarf. Man, I have this giant desk and it's still never big enough. can handle the camera data and not handle it like a bunch of vertices. Painted on the side. Yeah, Edie, I think the problem is like Clip Studio doesn't have like a camera like you do in Blender. Like it kind of does, but like the manipulation tools for the camera are not, because you can't like go into you can't just swing around into an orthographic view and then move the camera over like you can in Blender. It's like you can only be in the 3D camera view and try to like manipulate yourself into position, but you can't ever like grab the camera and put it where you want it. Does that make any sense? It's like it's just rough. Sorry, man, I keep putting my head right in there, huh? Yeah, this Lightbox is pretty great. It was cheap too. I mean, for a Lightbox this big, like the light area on it is, how big is this? Yeah, it's like 24 by 17. And I think it was like $100, $120, something like that. I've had light boxes in the past that I've paid like $400 and something for something this size. But they were also like this deep, so you set it on the desk and it was, you know, way, I don't know, messed up the drawing situation. BOV, it is not USB powered. It has a little like wall wart kind of a power. But it is like an LED kind. It's got like a pretty nice diffusion, so it's like the light on it is very even. It's not like the brightest light box I've ever used. I feel funny calling it a light box even, because it's not a box, it's like a panel. It's only like, you know, a half an inch thick. Yes, Pippi, this is 11 by 17 paper. And this is from a stash of paper I got a long time ago from Kelly. I used to get a lot of my paper from Kelly's Paper, which is just like a paper supplier. They sort of like they're a chain, but they mostly are for like local printers or whatever. But they, you go in and get 11 by 17 of all kinds of paper, and they had this really nice toothy. I think they even called it a Bristol, but it's like way thinner than like what you would consider an artist Bristol paper. So you could get a whole ream of this for like, I don't know, $20 or something. At least you could a couple years ago when I got this. I think that's everything I need to transfer. actually, not quite. I think I'm going to figure link is going to be about here. And I liked trying to keep Ganondorf like a giant rectangle, but I don't know. It looks a little bit like, I don't know what. Like I'm forcing it too much. So I think I'm going to rework this arm just a little bit so it's kicked out a little bit more. Like his elbow is sticking out. And actually, that makes me want to throw this shoulder up just a little bit more. I agree with you, Bovie. Paper is, I think, very compelling. And The Office just did not ever get that. I'm sorry. I keep putting my head in there. Very compelling. Let's see what the top of my head looks like when I'm drawing. This is a commission, Bo. It is a nice warm beanie. Yeah, man, you're right, Bo. Like that's it. Zelda has had a lot of different art styles. I think that's like one of the things that I like about the game so much is that like each generation of the game is so different looking and a different kind of gameplay and stuff. And they sort of have leaned ever since Wind Waker. They've leaned real pretty heavy into the open world stuff, but like Wind Waker still felt way different than Breath of the Wild. And what was the other? There was another like there was a Wii version, a Wii game that was also really good. That was kind of open worldish, but not quite as open world as Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Well, thanks for coming by, Lindsay. I hope you have a great night. Have some good rest. This arm is not right. I think it's because this arm isn't doing anything. Like, this arm is holding on to the sword, which is great. Makes sense. But this arm needs to be doing something. Like, I wonder if he needs to be, like, reaching for his sword. How would that look? Pinky forward. Having this camera right here is very handy for doing hand reference. Yeah, that's like way better. Hey, Comic Tropes. It is Ganondorf. And here's my little Zelda, or my Link rather, to go in there. I have such a hard time just calling him Gannon. Like, Ganondorf is such a fun name to me that that it's just really hard to not say that. And it is a lost opportunity to not do, for Nintendo to not have a golf game that's like Ganondorf on golf. Which is probably a joke that only my generation would understand. time figuring out that index finger. I'm dying to know, since nobody commented on it. Is anyone else familiar with Dwarf on Golf? Or am I having one of those moments where I'm incredibly old? Yeah, Tim Conway. Those like straight to video. That's why I think Ganondorf should have a golf game. Well, for those who don't know, the Tim Conway, old school American comedian, he did a lot of Carol Burnett show stuff. He did a series of straight-to-video, like VHS comedy releases that was Dwarf on Golf, and he would, they would dig a hole, and he would stand in it like up to his knees, and then put like fake shoes off of his knees, and then so he looked like a very short person, and then he would like flop around funnily in a funny way, and it was really amazing. I never actually saw one, but in the 90s, the ads for them were kind of persistent. I'm sure they're on YouTube if you want to look them up. Oh, I might have to watch Tiptoes. Oh, I bet, Edie. Like, the ads for those were so ubiquitous. Like, he had to be making money on those. Thing about golfing is that the people who are into it spend a lot of money on it. And also they think that, like, golf jokes are hilarious. Oh, no way, Keith. You make a golf game? I actually, um, golf video games are like the only sport game that I actually have enjoyed. Mario Golf, I think, is my favorite. But, God, what were some of the others that I played? I guess I haven't played a ton. But it's also like, they're like fishing games for me. Like, they're... Actually, when I worked on a baseball game, it reminded me a lot of golf because there's so many, like it's just like beat the bar kind of games where you're just playing against a little thing that goes whoop, whoop across the screen. But that stuff can be really fun if you do it right. And like it's really fun to like sit around with your friends and play. Man, Keith, I feel that. Like, I worked on a football game, and it's the only time I ever watched football was actually in that video game. And I worked on a baseball game, and I've sat through a baseball game in real life a couple times, but I've never watched baseball on TV. Oh my gosh, comic tropes. You're probably right. There's like one time when I was working on the football game, we went to New York um, for a whole bunch of reasons, but we got to meet a bunch of uh, we were gonna scan. The main thing was we were gonna do 3D scans of some players, and the so we went to CBS, I think it was, and we were there for like their Sunday morning football show thing. And I got talking to one of the cameramen there, and it was fun because he actually worked on cameras for football games too, and he was just talking about how much video games influence broadcast, and vice versa. I'm sure like that's got to be starting to affect golf games too. But there's just like I don't know. I think it's pretty cool that there's like that, um, for lack of a better word, synergy between broadcast sports and video game sports. My sister once played what she called extreme golf. She dressed up in a stereotypical outfit with a colonial flat hat and tweed plus fours and played from a moving golf buggy. That sounds amazing. Oh, that's a good idea, Bovie. You know, we spent a lot of time in various places I lived, jumping into the golf course and stealing balls. Well, we weren't really. I guess we weren't stealing. We were just grabbing them out of the bushes or whatever. But we never like sold them back. Our goal was always just to get as many as we could, so we could go home and like throw them at shit. This electric eraser is a Sakura electric eraser. This thing's great. I've had this thing for about 15 years now. I love it. It takes, I think it takes AAA batteries. Oh my gosh. It stopped working just this very second. I wonder if this... I haven't replaced the batteries on here in a long time. There we go. That's a good question, Comic Tropes. I don't know what's the most fun to draw. Like, the parts that I get right are the fun parts. Like, this hand isn't quite right, but, like, the palm and the thumb feels just about perfect to me. In fact, I'm going to get rid of these fingers because they're just wrong. Like, this much of the hand was really fun to draw because it came together and felt good. Tonight, I'm kind of just enjoying holding a pencil. I've been penciling in Clip Studio all week, which is great and is a great, like a kind of a superior way to work when you need to get things right. But yeah, but there's something about when you get a light touch on your pencil and you're just sort of lightly scribbling in the forms. I don't know. Feels good. I'm going to see. Oh. It's hard to get it. That's what I'm struggling with. I think the thing is that these two middle fingers want to be together, kind of. Oh. Yeah, I think these batteries are done, so. So these two middle fingers want to be like touching, and then the index finger is sort of loose. Yeah, like that is so much better all of a sudden. That's why I use photo reference. I think he's got like black fingernails or like dark green fingernails in this game. Yeah, he's definitely got like that goth vibe. All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to quite finish this tonight, but I think I'm done for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and scan them in and then get them sort of composited together. It's hard to see here. This paper is a little bit thick for doing like light box stuff. But if I put like link there, that works okay. It doesn't look like he's right on Ganondorf's crotch. I think Link's sword is too short though. I think the Master Sword is probably closer to that. Hey, Tim. Thanks for hopping in. All right. I'm going to call that evening well spent. So again, like the plan is to scan these in, do a little bit cleanup, and then I'll print them out and do the final painting right on the top of the printout. And that's how it'll go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. It's always really fun to have someone to hang out with me when I'm drawing. And yeah, it has been an extra long. Dang, we almost went an hour and 45. Yeah, next weekend hopefully it'll be all ready and we can do some painting on it. I think that'll be a reasonable plan. We'll see. Who knows what next week's gonna bring. Could be anything. All right, everybody. I hope y'all stay warm and have a great weekend. Don't forget to tell the people you love how much you love them. And I love all you guys. All right, so take care. Bye.